For 9 seasons, we invited the Clampetts into our living rooms. We laughed at Jethro, we loved Granny's spunk, and we admired Jed's wisdom. But while we were laughing at their simple ways, we missed something huge standing right in front of us. We always thought of them as the Beverly Hillbillies, simple folks out of their element. But if you look at the numbers, Jed Clampett wasn't just a fish out of water. He was quite possibly the smartest financial success story in television history. In the pilot episode, the OK Oil Company hands Jed a check for $25 million. Back then, that number sounded like fantasy. But have you ever stopped to wonder, what would that fortune be worth today? Would Jed be rich? Would he be wealthy? Or would he be powerful enough to buy the very network that canceled his show? Put down your coffee and grab your calculator. We are going to do a forensic audit on the Clampett fortune. And I promise you, the final number is going to blow your mind. Let's start with the year 1962. To understand how much money $25 million was back then, you have to remember what things cost. In 1962, a brand new Ford Mustang hadn't even been released yet. A gallon of gas was 31 cents. You could buy a decent house for under $15,000. A millionaire back then was rare. A multimillionaire with $25 million in liquid cash, that was unheard of. Now, most people make a simple mistake here. They just plug $25 million into an online inflation calculator. If you do that, you get a number around $260 million. Now, don't get me wrong, $260 million is a lot of money. It's enough to buy a nice mansion in Bel Air today and retire comfortably. But in modern terms, that's not tycoon money. That's just standard Hollywood celebrity money. If that was all Jed had, this video would be short. But Jed Clampett didn't bury his money in mayonnaise jars in the backyard. He had a secret weapon, his banker. If you'd like to support the research we do to uncover deep stories like this one, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support means we can continue to bring these untold truths to light. We all remember Milburn Drysdale, the greedy, nervous, obsessive banker next door. We laughed at how much he panicked whenever the Clampetts wanted to spend a dime. But ask yourself, why was he so protective of that money? Because he was investing it. Drysdale ran the Commerce Bank. He wasn't letting $25 million sit in a vault gathering dust. He would have put that capital into the engine of the American economy, the stock market. Let's assume Drysdale was a smart banker. Let's say he put Jed's fortune into a standard portfolio of America's biggest companies, the S&P 500. He would have bought stocks in companies like IBM, Coca-Cola, and General Electric back when they were growing giants. Since 1962, the American stock market has been a wealth-generating machine. Through the 70s inflation, the 80s boom, the 90s dot-com era, and even the 2008 crash, the market has averaged about a 10% return per year when you reinvest the dividends. This is where the magic of compound interest kicks in. If you take $25 million and let it grow at 10% for 63 years, you don't end up with millions. You end up with $10.1 billion. That's right, billion with a B. Just by sitting on his front porch whittling wood, Jed Clampett would today be richer than most of the famous sharks you see on TV. But wait, we haven't even talked about the oil yet. Here's the detail most fans forget. That $25 million check in the first episode, that was likely just a signing bonus or an initial payment. The oil didn't stop flowing just because they moved to Beverly Hills. In the show, it's implied that Jed maintained the rights to his land. In 1962, a barrel of crude oil cost about $2. Today, it fluctuates between $70 and $90. If Jed Clampett owned the mineral rights to a swamp that produced millions of barrels over 6 decades, he wouldn't just be a wealthy investor. He would be an oil baron. He would be in the same league as the Rockefellers or the Gettys. Or, if you prefer TV references, he would have more money than J.R. Ewing ever dreamed of. When you add the oil royalties to his investment portfolio, conservative estimates push the Clampett family net worth to somewhere between $25 billion and $30 billion. Now here is the final piece of the puzzle. The reason why so many lottery winners and athletes go broke today is that they spend money faster than they make it. But think about the Clampetts. They grew up in the Great Depression. They knew the value of a dollar. What did they spend money on? Did they buy a fleet of Rolls-Royces? No, they drove a 1921 Oldsmobile truck. Did they buy designer clothes? No, they wore their work boots and flannel. Did they eat at five-star restaurants? No, Granny cooked victuals at home. Mr. Drysdale loved them because they never touched the principal. They lived off a tiny fraction of the interest. In the financial world, this is called the snowball effect. Because they weren't draining the account, the money just kept doubling and doubling and doubling. So let's look at the final tally. If Jed Clampett were alive today, sitting in that mansion, he would be richer than the owners of most NFL teams. He would be richer than the founders of Nike, Spotify, or Twitter. He would effortlessly make the Forbes top 50 list of the wealthiest people in America. Imagine the scene. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos arguing about who has the better rocket ship, and Jed Clampett pulling up next to them in his old jalopy, quietly having just as much money as them, but without any of the stress. But you know what the best part of this story is? Even with $30 billion in the bank, you know exactly what Jed would be doing. He wouldn't be on a mega yacht in the Mediterranean. He wouldn't be buying a social media company just to burn it down. He'd be sitting on the porch, listening to the birds, maybe helping Jethro out of a scrape, and telling us all to set a spell and take your shoes off. Jed Clampett proved that you can have all the money in the world, but it doesn't mean a thing if you lose who you are. He remained a gentleman, a good father, and a good neighbor. And maybe that is the real wealth. What do you think Jed would do with $30 billion today? Would he finally buy a new truck, or would he just donate it all to help folks? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this look at the financial side of Beverly Hills, please hit that like button and subscribe. We've got more classic TV secrets coming your way. Y'all come back now, you hear?